Okay, hi everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Real Talk About Real Estate Investing. I feel like it's been ages since we've gotten together to chat. Things have been so busy. We had some COVID issues, we've had some scheduling issues, we've had some just regular busy with life issues. So welcome back everybody. We're so happy to have you here. I'm joined by Mike and Leanne. My husband Steff is not with us today. He's busy working his 9 to 5 and sends his regards and his regrets and is looking forward to joining us again next time. So as you will notice, Mike and Leanne are not in their office in Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario today. Why don't you guys let us know where, I know where you are, but why don't you let everybody else know where you are? And today's episode is going to be a pretty candid conversation about where they are and how they got there and how it's going. So let's talk about that.
Let's talk about it. We are in sunny Florida at our newly acquired vacation rental home.
Yeah,
Right, which is so exciting.
Yeah, we joke with the kids, our Florida home, so our Floam.
Oh, okay. Yep.
So we're Floam. We're working from our remote office.
You know what? You should trademark that. Maybe put it in a post or something.
There you go.
Yeah. And of course, my 9 to 5, I took a week's vacation, but we're still, we brought the laptop and I think we delayed this a couple of minutes because we were actually talking to one of our, preferred realtors about a mortgage that we had on the go.
Yeah.
So, of course, being remote, we can work from anywhere.
And we have this conversation almost every time we connect, is the location freedom and the freedom that real estate investing offers, because we're all kind of in those sectors that allows you to kind of work from wherever. You've got the flexibility that you can go and check out whatever you've newly acquired and kind of, make your list of what needs to be done and check off what's happening and how you want to kind of fix it up. So tell us more about it. It's a property in Florida. And what's the details?
So we are in a gated community. We came down here in mid-February, on a bus tour for Janie and Kyle from
JK Partners.
Yeah.
We did 2 days, about 16. Well, it was scheduled for 8 or 9 hours a day, but you're with that group of people. We had suppers together, lunches together. Events in the evening together. So you spend about 16 hours with, this group of 20 people. But we toured 5 or 6 different gated communities, all with different levels of amenities, being hot tubs. All the houses we looked at, short-term rental world, it's really important to, have your pool and hot tub at the house. Mm-hmm. And also having like a clubhouse with amenities.
Mm-hmm.
So now, how far are you guys from your clubhouse? I know I've seen pictures of, and it's really the coolest clubhouse I've seen in a long time. And it's got so many fun things. So definitely family focused. Definitely somewhere to bring the kids if you want to take a holiday. How far are you from that?
So if you Google mapped it, the kids did it yesterday. It's a 8 or 9 minute walk from our house to the clubhouse. Right. But if you don't want to do that 8 or 9 minute walk, they have within the community a shuttle service. So you can just call them up, they come and pick you up at the door. And away you go. Yeah.
Your little mug, you wait at the driveway and away you go.
And away you go.
I love that. Oh my gosh. That might be my new favorite part.
So we had looked at, like I mentioned, like 5 or 6 different communities with different levels of, clubhouses.
Yeah.
And we chose Champions Gate just because it probably had some of the best amenities. There was 2 or 3 that were tied. But the big driving factor here was they're doing a huge expansion and they're putting in a water park with several slides, a massive splash pad for kids. Like there is, a pool, a lazy river, a splash pads for kids, hot tubs, tiki bars, like all that already. But they're creating a second one more just, with 3-story water slides, multiple ones and like a huge, like a water park that will be included. And that really drew us to this neighborhood. Because of that, we could see the property values even in, the couple of weeks that we were researching it, we could see property values going up, that quickly.
Yep.
And I think once that water park opens up, it will be, a definite perk for this neighborhood.
It's okay. It's not too loud. We can still hear you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Again, lawnmowers. Part of the great thing about
HOA.
HOA, this community is they look after all your yard care, your cutting the grass, picking up the garbage. Every day they have curbside garbage pickup. We got a little bin, we put it right outside our door, and every morning the garbage fairies come and they take your garbage away. So
that's fantastic.
And it sounds, like over the top, but imagine like we bought a 6-bedroom house designed for multiple families. Like our house will sleep 12 to 14 people. So you put 12 or 14 people in a house. Could you imagine the garbage that somebody would have after like a week, let alone?
We've been on holiday, and I mean, we've traveled a lot with our kids and my sister-in-law and her family. So together we're a family of 10, right? So we would fit perfectly in your house. And I know what kind of mess 6 kids makes over a day, right? So, I mean, 4 adults, 6 children. Yeah, the garbage and the recycling that we go through when we holiday with them is pretty significant. And that's great. So that's one more thing. So super family focused. You've got access to the shuttle service. Like my brain, I can't wait to tell Steff that part when he gets home. Oh my gosh. And okay. So, I was just going to say, so what happens if you don't want to hit the splash pad with a ton of other people? What if you're just looking for a quiet afternoon at home, or you just kind of want to sit and read? Do you have any options in the house?
Yeah, so we have our pool area, which we're sitting in right now, and we'll
see with the sun if we can do a little pan. So again, this house had, and it's actually there's different size pools. They're not huge, but this was a larger size pool, so it allows for a lot of people. And then a hot tub area. We're a covered deck area, and the big selling feature is that door right there goes into a washroom.
Right.
So if you're at the pool, some issues, they're not running through the middle of the kitchen on the tile floor.
Slipping, falling, dragging water through. Until I heard about the shuttle service, that bathroom was my favorite feature of the house. But now that bathroom, like, run through the house wet, it doesn't even matter. There's a shuttle service to take me to the tiki bar, so I'm good.
Exactly.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about how this came together. I know that you guys have worked closely with Janie and Kyle, and they're great resources and they're a great network to connect in. Kind of bring us back to how this all started. I mean, I know we've been having these Florida conversations for months, right? We Steff and I have closed on a place in Tampa that is beautiful and clicking along, doing exactly what we wanted it to do. But we kept it as a long-term rental. Now, you guys are kind of flipping that over and doing a short-term rental. So those are very different conversations, right? And very different. You've got different preparations that you need to do for stuff like that. So can we talk a little bit about that? Just because I know there's going to be people who are going to reach out and ask for, like, what kind of steps did you have to take to get to where you are?
So we dabbled because we wanted to be in the hot states, like temperature hot states, right? And we looked at several different areas. We were looking at South Carolina. We were looking at different areas of Florida. Mike came across, because obviously we follow Janie and Kyle a lot, and their deal reveal, which is which night is it?
Every Thursday night.
Every Thursday night. And it's just a quick 20-minute deal reveal. And they reveal different types of deals in different areas of the states. And they basically ask the question, is that a deal for you or is it not a deal for you? Because obviously every real estate agent has different goals. So the one deal reveal Mike was on, I didn't catch it at the time, but they're recorded. So we went back on it and he says, oh my God, he goes, Florida. He goes, we were missing something. You got to see this. You got to see this. And in the deal reveals, they lay out all of the numbers, all of the rental income, all of the mortgage, all the expenses. And then the bottom line, Mike said, you've got to see the bottom line. Like
at the end of it, that's what matters, right? Is we're all doing this for a lot of different reasons, but at the end of it all, once you peel it all down, that bottom line is what matters.
The bottom line was so utterly attractive. Blew long-term rentals out of the water. We do all of our other rentals are long-term rentals, and they're nice and stable. But then when you see this little shiny nugget, it's like, wow, we got to investigate that. So we came down in February and we said, we need to check it out. So, and that's what we did. And we learned so much. We toured so many properties, and we learned that really great RSP strategy as well.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's a game changer for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. Janie and Kyle were the first to entrepreneur this, and they were the first to take their RSPs and put it into a vacation rental in the US. It's essentially like the first time home buyers in Canada. So you pay yourself back. But it's that type of thing. And now we're the second to do it. And
it's amazing.
Which, given us so much more opportunities well beyond this house.
It's funny because, I wanted to come down because I know that they were revealing it at the bus tour. And I said, we got to get in on this because I got to figure it out. And, there's been lots of people and they've done their blueprint since then. And, they launched it on their blueprint. And there's a lot of people that have been doing it. And now that we've done it, there's still a lot of skeptical people. And we've gotten a ton of messages from people, different investors that we know, that have also been involved in the blueprint and said, hey, and I said, no, it's legit. We're doing it. We've done it. We've done it. So it's nice to see and actually go through that process and see how it works.
No, and that's something that Steff and I are looking at now. That's something that we talk about quite often between the four of us is how amazing that is as an opportunity to access some capital that would otherwise be sitting and waiting for you to retire right down the road. When it makes so much more sense. You know what, if we could access it now, put it into something that's going to grow and create cash flow and kind of help build that portfolio. Mm-hmm. Your retirement is going to come that much faster anyways. So, I mean, whether you use it now or you save it and you wait and use it later, we'd much rather use that now and kind of take that action. So we're better set up, a year down the road, 2 years down the road, 5 years down the road. And then maybe we have a little bit more flexibility with where we go in terms of retirement and that kind of stuff.
And we're really about diversification, right?
Yeah.
We have our Ontario portfolio or Michigan, now with this Florida home, we do have some investments. We have TFSAs, we have, RSPs, we didn't take every penny we had and, sink it into the home, we diversified, right? Because, your investments kind of, roll along, like you say, tick along and, they continue, they have their up and down of the market. The thing we love about real estate is we bring this over, we're still able to pay ourselves a good interest on our investments. And you get that multiplier. Like I always go back to real estate, you get that multiplier, right? You put that money in, you get your property appreciation, somebody's paying down your mortgage, and then you get that cash flow. And, there's 3 different ways. And if I go into detail, there's probably 9 different ways of why, real estate is a superior investment, but just 3 really quick ones, your appreciation, your mortgage pay down, and then that monthly cash flow when someone's paying you that rental money. So it's building 3 times as fast.
Yep. No, and I know we've also discussed many times in the past, right? Different things. And I like how you said you diversify a little bit. You've got some TFSAs, you've got some RRSPs, you've got, you know what I mean? Everybody's kind of got a little bit going on, but you can diversify within your portfolio and still kind of create a really cool balance where everything kind of balances out and takes care of everything. Like we have a part of our portfolio is in Sudbury in Ontario. We have part of our portfolio in New Brunswick. We have part of it in Michigan. We have part of it in Florida, and all of them perform in different ways. And I'm sure yours is the same, right? You have some that are maybe a little bit higher cash flow, slower equity build, some that are pretty balanced, some that maybe don't cash flow really great, but it's a really hot market. So you're going to be really well positioned for a refinance. And you get a few of those things kind of going in the pot, and all of a sudden, the market volatility is what it is. And I mean, we all kind of ride through the bumps and still come out okay on the other side. But that balance kind of will help the different markets take care of themselves, right? So you have a market where there's less cash flow, but really great equity growth. Well, your high cash flowing place can help kind of offset the difference if there's a rough month or something breaks or those kinds of things. So I love the idea of balance in all kinds of different ways, right? You balance your portfolio by investing in different ways. You also balance your portfolio by investing in different places for different reasons. and it winds up, it's stronger in the end for it. That's kind of cool to know, because if you're only investing for equity growth, then you're never really going to have the cash flow that you need. And if you're only investing in cash flow, then the cash flow is fine and it pays for itself, but your equity growth isn't there, and you may run into troubles when you try to refinance or renew a mortgage or any of those kinds of things.
It's been exciting since we've been here.
For sure.
And
you have your kids with you?
We have our kids with us.
And what do they think?
They think it's amazing because this is theirs too, right?
And that's part of the why, right?
Yeah.
That brings us all the way back to the beginning. And why are you doing this?
Yeah, my youngest, well, they both have invested into the different properties.
Mm-hmm.
And my youngest said that for her little piece, and again, they're 17 and 20, so it's not that they're giving us exuberant amount of dollars, but they saved and they can do. And she's decided she owns the deep end of the pool. That's her. So that's hers. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She did want the owner's closet for a short time because she was going to get herself a little scooter. So she needs somewhere to store it in the owner's closet because it's obviously there's a keypad on it.
Yep.
And then she decided that the scooter was probably not a good investment because if you're only down here once or twice a year, then,
And they got a shuttle.
So, I mean, why do you need a scooter?
Oh my gosh. Honestly, I can't wait to tell Steff that. That'll be separate table conversation tonight for sure. No, and that's great. And you know what? You bring your kids into it and you make them a part of it because and I know our two families are very similar this way.
Yeah.
But they're the reason why we're doing this.
Yeah.
Right. Is to kind of help create options and opportunities for them down the road that were more than we had when we were their age. At least that's what it is for us.
And they got excited too. Like we went to, because always, we knew the layout of the house because obviously we had toured different floor plans.
Mm-hmm.
But as a realtor, pictures aren't always exactly what quality is when you buy a place.
Yeah.
We thought the furniture was a little bit better until we sat in it and our knees went up over our heads. So they had to be replaced. But that's okay. I mean, that was one of the expenses. So we decided to go to Ikea.
Mm-hmm.
And because we're only here for 10 days or whatever it is, so we need to get things delivered before we leave again.
Right.
So the kids, and Ikea, obviously a great option for that. And the kids wanted to come shopping and they were like, hey, what about this for the house? Hey, what about that for the house? So it was great. Yeah.
I love that. I really do. So now what are your next steps? So you're about halfway through your 10-day stay, right? And what does the rest of your week look like? I know there's been some furniture shopping. I know there's been some grocery shopping. I know you've had a little bit of company with some of the network, that's in that area that you guys are visiting with. What else to kind of prep the rental? Because as great as it is that you're sitting there and you're in Florida and you're at the pool and it's, new couches, but it needs to be rented out to pay you back, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And again, it comes back down to that bottom line. So what kind of timelines do you guys have and what needs to happen before you're kind of ready to put it on whatever platform it is you're using, whether it's Airbnb or VRBO or any of those kinds of things?
So we're going to move ahead and do something a little bit different. And there are many people doing this too as well. But we're going to theme out. We're going to theme out a few rooms. So we're going to theme out 3 bedrooms and the garage is going to turn into an arcade. So hired a theming company who we're going to meet with tomorrow. I'm losing my track of days here.
Holidays, right? You're on Florida time. That's a totally different clock.
Exactly.
100%.
So I'll let Mike talk about the theming.
Yeah. So what we obviously look at different properties, and when you come through the community, it's loaded with 6, 7, 8 bedroom houses, all very similar. We really want to get to that top 1 percentile. If you can rent a house, hundreds of houses on the street, what's going to differentiate you from the house that's beside you?
Right.
So we did a bunch of research, again, some training, and then just deep diving on, Airbnb and different sites and looking at, what stands out and what gets some of the best ratings. Mm-hmm. And, reading through those reviews and looking for those keywords like, oh, it was this, it was that. So that's where, we came up with some ideas. And then also asking our network of, hey, if you were going to go to a Florida house and you were going to stay in a themed house or a house that had a couple of bedrooms.
And I'll interject for 1 second. We are 15 or 20 minutes away from Disney, so that's where we're positioned.
Yeah,
and they're designed for multiple families that are coming to go to Disney.
Well, and really with the shuttle service and the tiki bar, do you even need Disney? I'm not convinced. I get that's what brings a lot of families to Florida, but you guys are positioned, even if you weren't near Disney, it feels like you're well positioned with this.
Yes. Yes.
Well, and even, if you had, 3 families in here and that's, for example, our daughters are, 20 and 17, but maybe, hey, good friends of ours or family, they have some young ones and hey, they come down and, they go to Disney for the day and we stay here at the pool or
at the clubhouse.
Like us, your friends?
Yeah.
You're like inviting us and our youngest children to come for a visit?
Exactly. So, you can come to the house and never leave the gated community.
Right.
You know what I mean? And have a fabulous vacation, resort style, vacation. You can come and I know some people that come to Disney and, they're here for 7 days, like 7 days they're at Disney, right?
Yep.
I know when we came about 5 years ago, we came and we said to the kids, hey, we're there for a week. We booked a really nice resort, Summers Bay. There's tons of amenities. And we said, look, we're here for a week, but we want to relax. So I think we gave them 2 or 3 days. Yep. You can pick what parks you want to go to, but we're not going to 8 days.
It's not Disney 24/7.
Yeah. We're going to do 3.
Yeah. Is that a vacation for a lot of people? Maybe, but maybe not. And I remember we've traveled to Florida a lot. We're hardcore spring breakers, and we usually visit my parents in a pre-COVID world because they winter in Florida. And we've traveled right from when our kids were babies. And I know we've done Disney and all of those things, but I always, when we traveled and they were that small, looked for somewhere where I could have a playpen so they could nap and a quiet space so we could have downtime, because anyone with a couple of kids and back when they were like 6, 3, and 1, you know what I mean, knows that you can't go 24/7 and with kids that age.
Yeah. And
no, I think that you guys are really marketed towards that family vacation demographic, and you're offering options at the same time, which is super cool.
Yeah. And then back to the theming. We kind of got off track there. So we're going to do...
we do that all the time.
I know.
Yeah. We're going to do 3 bedrooms and a garage. So we'll do 2 bedrooms that we'll call it heavy theming, that will have, some set of a bunk bed, and maybe we'll integrate a slide in there. So 3 or 4 kids can sleep in there.
Yep.
The next bedroom we'll do the same. Again, something unique.
So for example, we went through one home when we were here back in February. It was a pirate themed house.
I remember the pictures.
In the bedroom, it was heavy muralized with different pirates, pictures and whatever. And it's artists that hand paint them, which just phenomenal work. And then the bed was an actual pirate ship that had a slide off it. And so what kid would not just die to have, being in that type of room? Right. So
and you know what? Parents will pay a premium price to give that as that kind of family vacation, special occasion type thing, which is really what we're all trying to do, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you can, by having it themed, you can at least double your nightly rent as opposed, like if you were themed versus not themed. And really, some people say, "Oh my gosh, paying 5, 6, 7, 8. I mean, and then peak season up to 1,000 and more. Holy man, how do people afford that per night?"
Yeah.
But when you have multiple families in there, when you cut it down, you got all these amenities. What if
divided by 3?
Divided by 3.
100%, right? And it's a big trip, and a lot of people will spend more on something special.
Yeah.
Right. And you throw in a couple of grandparents, and you throw in, like brothers and sisters that have kind of their own children. And we've done many family trips like that. And you know what? You divide it by 3 or 4 or however many you've got going on, and you double up the kids, which they think is hilariously awesome anyway, because holidays, and it's super fun. And all of a sudden it's not nearly as unmanageable as you might think with the, oh my God, like $1,000 a night at your peak season. You divvy that up between the group that you're with, and all of a sudden it's not quite so bad.
It's not.
Yeah. And then each 6-bedroom house, 6 bathrooms.
Yes.
So virtually, every bedroom has.
Steph would be lost for days. Like I wouldn't see him for days.
Yeah. Whether it's a Jack and Jill bathroom, each bedroom essentially has its own bathroom. And the one beautiful thing is, like the toilet, we laugh and say it's almost like a toilet closet. Like it's in a separate door. So if somebody did need to use the toilet,
because everybody's getting ready to go to Disney, and you got to be out the door by 7. Like
every bathroom has a double sink. So it's really designed. I mean, our house right now will sleep 12 people. When it's done, maybe it'll sleep 16. Like we're not sure the final plans yet, but I mean, you're putting 16 people in here. Well, you got to have, a lot of washrooms, a lot of sinks, a lot of, area.
Oh, for sure. I know we're a family of 5 and we don't have enough bathrooms.
Yeah.
And we have like 4. So I mean, it's still not enough some days.
And the other thing too is, in the home that we purchased that we're at now, is there's one bedroom on the main level with the king bed in it. So that's another ideal thing, because if you have grandparents come in, right, that are maybe a little bit older, that have a hard time with stairs, that there is at least one bedroom on the main floor. We've toured different houses where they've had 2. This one just has 1, but you kind of ideally want at least one on the main level for that reason.
And that's great for grandparents that have troubles with stairs, for little kids that are still sleeping in the playpen beside mom and dad that maybe can't walk yet. No, you fit it checks a lot of boxes for a lot of different people in a lot of different ways, which is great. Tell me, I'm curious, property management. Clearly you're not taking care of it yourself, right?
No.
You're living in the SU.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about that. What is that going to look like for you guys?
So we're using a very specialized company, again, who's going to really work with us to get us into that top, 1 percentile. Again, that was part of the bus tour, working with our network, Janie Keller launching their own special property management company. I believe it's part of their, their visa process. But it's really, they've engaged the right people. We've had a couple of conversations, drawn out some plans, and it's all designed to get us into that top 1 percentile. Using, the tools, the wording, the proper pictures, how to structure your title, how to word it. It's all that built in there.
Because there's so many algorithms working in the background that you need to optimize yourself.
Yeah. We want to always be on, page 1 or 2.
Yep.
And, that's where we're going to engage the right team. Some people are like, I might have saved 2% by going to this property manager. But, the services that they offer, that 2%.
When you mention that they pay or don't pay, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The house that we took over, when we look at the revenue that we're going to make and the revenue that the house was making, it's staggering. We'll potentially make 5 to 7 times more gross revenue than what, the current property manager when we purchased this house.
Yeah.
It's just, somebody who it's a small guy. He has his own dedicated website. That's the only places he lists. He's, when we talk to him, he says, I get lots of repeat, clients. It's great. People like to stay here, same. But when you look at the booking calendar, there's all kinds of, and they call them orphan days, all kinds of holes in there where, not that it's once you're set up, it's not work to fill all those holes. There's systems that automate your nightly booking rate. They'll sweep, Airbnb and VRBO, and it looks and says, occupancy, there's 80% occupancy. Like there's tons of places available. Well, it will automatically lower our nightly rate to reflect that, right? A couple of days later, it'll sweep it like twice a day. A couple of days later, it sweeps it. Oh man, there's 10% of places available. You're not booked. It'll raise your rate because it can see that, it can see that, somebody's viewed your place 5 times. Well, they're pretty serious. It can adjust the rate that way as well. Hey, you have 3 days in the middle of your month that aren't filled. It'll automatically reduce that nightly rate to try to get those 3 nights filled for you.
Right on. That's fantastic, because that's less brain work that you need to dedicate to that. It's to me, it's pretty seamless. And I mean, that kind of property management, that kind of attention, even if it is a percentage point or 2 higher, to nickel and dime it at that point when you're clearly being taken care of somebody that's trying to push you into that top percentile, to me, that's worth it every day of the week.
Yeah. Obviously, the more successful we are, the more successful they are, right? Because it's a percentage base. So obviously they want, the best for us, and we want the best for them, right?
Yeah, no, and it's a great working relationship. That's awesome. So, okay, anything else? Anything else that people who are watching and listening would want to know about or want to hear about? That was a big piece of how you guys got to where you are. Like I'm super pumped. And every day I've told you guys I'm so excited and I can't wait to see how this works because it's super learning for us, right? And we'll steal as much knowledge as we can to see how we can make it work for us, right? As kind of we grow too. So what is there anything else that you think anybody watching or listening would want to know about or hear about, or anything else that's kind of worth mentioning before we sign off?
I'm going to say we obviously, because we were already established in the US with our Michigan rental properties, we had the Michigan or US bank account in the US.
Yep.
And then we applied for credit right away. So I strongly advise everybody apply for a credit card right away because you want to build your credit regardless.
Right.
But we had a $5,000 limit on it. So come
sure.
armed and ready, have multiple credit cards or have a bigger limit.
Okay.
There are going to be items. Like I said, we came in here thinking we don't need couches. And, when you sink with your knees up over your head, you need new couches.
Fair enough. So, and it makes sense, right? So,
yeah.
and I know that American credit is kind of difficult to find at times, you know what I mean? And not every bank offers a lot for foreign business owners. Yeah. Some it's more of a personal credit thing. So definitely talk to your banking professional and look into that. But a little bit of credit, because there are those surprises, like in any deal, and we've all done them, right? Yeah. Where there's surprises some days and there's things that maybe you didn't think about, or things that you didn't really put into your budget that need attention, and they need attention quickly. So that's a great one. And I kind of giggle a little bit because I know you kind of rack it up and you pay it down, and you rack it up and you pay it down. And it's like, oh gosh, what do we have to buy today? And you just kind of have to, you're on your phone, on your banking app all the time.
And there's a lot of online, like I said, because we are here for a short period of time. It's, I'm on Amazon. Like I bought new patio furniture from Amazon and it's great. There's actually an Amazon warehouse here where we're at.
Perfect.
So it can get delivered in a day or two, which is amazing. And sometimes it's even the same day, which is incredible. So that's why you need that credit card. And then when you're here in person, because you want more than just one trade line, they call it, on your credit bureau. You want more than one trade line. So we're going to go visit in person the banks here, and we're going to get another credit card. So building those trade lines just to build up our credit here.
Yep.
To put us in a better situation in the future again.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So just one more thing before we wrap it up. So you guys closed on this one, I want to say a week ago, 10 days ago ish.
22nd at 5:04 p.m.
And I remember it was a pretty stressful couple of days leading up to that. Yeah. Okay, so here we are at the beginning of May. And what do you figure your time bracket is until you're on the market, renters able to book to stay? Just to kind of give an idea of closing to money coming in, right? And renters in your space.
Fingers crossed it's the beginning of July.
Okay.
Right at the beginning of July. It could be mid-July. So, we're
6 to 8 weeks.
6 to 8 weeks. Right. It could be 10 weeks, and
that's the theming, right? So, and that's the theming that's keeping up that time back. Okay.
Now, if we didn't go the theming route, and we just came in this week, we, upped the A game of the house. We bought the furniture. We bought the patio stuff. Really, we could be renting right away again.
Literally the day we closed, because they're short-term rentals and they're all planned out.
Right.
The day we closed, there was a renter that was got a vacationer that was moving into the house for a week. So we made $1,500 like the first week in our house, right? Because our house was booked. We can continue on with that property manager and look at what bookings that they have, and you can just take those over. So that's an important question as well. So you could take it over, and start your planning then. In our minds, we started planning quite a few weeks ago and engaging, the themer, engaging Mark, and getting a plan in place. We didn't have, a definite day because, closing we knew is very fluid in the States, and sometimes it moves a certain way. With it being a vacation home as well, it's not like Joe, who owned this, was packing up and had to be at his new house next week. You know what I mean? He's a real estate investor. You know, he's going to move that money and probably take it to his next project.
Right.
So if we, you know, delayed a week, he'd be like, nah, on the 22nd, I got somebody moving in. He goes, I'll just delay it for a week and I'll keep that $1,500 that, you know, instead of us, you know, getting it. Right. So they're very fluid that way. So we didn't have a firm date of when the themer was going to start.
Right.
But now, you know, we have that meeting tomorrow and we're going to pick a date. So you could take it over and just continue to roll on that way.
Yep.
But yeah,
and a lot of people do.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. And I'm sure that the theming piece is a big debate, right? A lot of people will do it right away because they want to hit that top dollar. A lot of people might let it ride out for the first few months just to kind of see what happens and then kind of add that on later on. And that's what I love about it, right? Is you've got so many options and none of them are really wrong. Nope. It's just different. And it's different to fit whatever your priorities are. And that's, again, right, bringing us all the way back to the beginning. That's part of why we all got into real estate investing, right? Because you can fit it into so many different little niches to make it work for you.
Yeah. And I always, going back to, you know, you mentioned earlier, invest in yourself, train, learn, align yourself with the people, you know, that are doing it or, you know, that are successful. Yep. You know what I mean? I think it's, you know, is it Grant Cardone that says, you know, you can turn decades, you know, into days. Like literally, you know, we've been exploring this for a year and a half. You know, a year seriously. February we came and, you know what I mean? Like 2 months later, it's like, boom, we're sitting here doing, you know, in our house. So it's amazing what you can get done, you know, when you line yourself with the right people.
It's true. And that just gave me an idea of one more thing to talk about before we sign off. So we've been connected now, Steff and I, to you guys for about a year now. Like we met last year. I want to say it was around the beginning
this time,
of May, or around the middle of May. Like we're very close to that year. And look at how far we've all come in a year.
Yeah.
Really, right? Like it blows my mind. We look back a year ago and it was all so fresh and exciting and we were making all these new friends and it was so motivating and there was so much drive and so much sharing and so much of all of that stuff that it's like we all just caught fire and we're just roaring. And I know from our perspective, we're very thankful to have such a great network of people that keep us motivated and keep the conversation going and kind of keep it real. And you know what, help us grow, which in turn helps them grow. And that's kind of how we play it. So happy anniversary, kids.
Yeah. And really think about it. Like when we met, we had one property in Michigan. That was our first one under contract when we met.
And here you are like four later.
And then we got Florida and you got property in Michigan and then you went Florida. And then we fell into Florida.
Like we had just closed when we met you guys. We had literally, like it had been, I think 3 or 4 days. We had closed on the properties in New Brunswick.
That's right too.
And then you guys had Detroit that was kind of happening. And then we jumped into Detroit in August. And then we got into Tampa in the fall. And now you guys are in just outside of Orlando. And it's like we do this, right? Yeah. And I can't wait to see what the next year brings. So we'll have to definitely make note of that and have like an anniversary episode again next spring to see how far we've come, because there's no end, right? There's no limits. And that's what I love about this so much.
Yeah. And then I know we're trying to wrap up, but just, you know, when I talk about that network, you know, we had Zeb stay at the house for 2 days. We met him on the bus tour. You know, here's somebody who they have over 100 doors in our portfolio, you know, that we met. They closed on a house Friday. He was in town. He closed after 5, so we didn't get the keys. We stay in a hotel. I'm like, come stay at our house, right?
Yep, lots of space.
Like, don't we sit around the table and, you know, not that we talk for an hour, like over the 2 or 3 days, we probably talked for 2-3 hours. Like, you know, here's somebody who, you know, appreciated us offering up, you know, a place to stay. He had some company. We talked about real estate. We talked about personal stuff. We talked about all kinds of stuff. But you know,
and he gave us some great ideas. We toured every inch of the house, and he gave us some great ideas because obviously he's already in the short-term rental business. So he was, and I just ran with him. Like, that's amazing, right?
And it was like an empty bedroom, and we loved having somebody stay in our house, right? Our vacation rental.
And I'm such a big believer, right? You put good stuff out there, it's always going to come back to you in different ways. And that's what I think that's great.
Yeah, for sure.
Right on. Okay, so on that note, I think that we're done for today. Unless there's anything else, last call. We're good.
We're good.
So again, thank you everybody for tuning in, and we really, really hope that you enjoyed the episode. This one was a lot of fun to have the conversations and keep the conversation real. And I mean, live on location, you don't get much better than that, right? Florida in May, and it couldn't be better. And really, we're so happy for you guys, and can't wait to see how it grows and how it goes. And maybe next time, Steff and I will be with you. And
Exactly.
We'll all be sitting around the pool. So on that note, we'll sign off and have a great day, everyone. And we'll see you on our next episode.